to take it on a personal level to see how you're going to protect yourself on the internet, protect yourself in terms of your personal information, and other is to basically see how this video that I showed you excites you in terms of looking at it from a career and what you really want to take forward. Let me skip these. Couple of things that have matured over a period of time. Late 60s was localized security, mid 90s was more network security, application security, then it moved on to application and protection, and today the most leading trend that is going on is SIM and SOC, which is essentially Security Operations Center, which is providing security across the enterprise, complete sort of holistic enterprise level security using tools like security incident and what they would really do is they would essentially provide your overall security. So today if you have an enterprise which is essentially distributed across the world, you cannot look at your business in parts. You have to look at your security or your enterprise across, because for example, let me take an example of ICICI Bank. Let's say they have ATMs across the country. Today, if I'm a hacker, I will go and attack one of their ATMs, and let's say I did it in Bangalore. One of the things that needs to happen is, as soon as that particular attack happens, that attack needs to be reviewed, analyzed, like what Dr. Gupta said. A forensic analysis needs to be done, a review of the investigation needs to be done, and that needs to be essentially elevated to a central security operations center, which can then basically say this can happen to any of my other ATM. So what really happens now is, rather than looking at security in a silo, you're starting to look at security as an enterprise. Yeah. So I think there's a difference between looking at, because if you do not look at it as an enterprise, your other ATMs are still vulnerable. So if I, as an hacker, was not able to penetrate your particular ATM in Bangalore, then I'm possibly going to go to Chennai or other location or any other ATM location within Bangalore. So I will continue to do that until I am able to get into the system. How do organizations respond to these? You have to expand the role of security beyond IT. Treat data within the organization as an asset. Set cyber performance goals in terms of what needs to be done within the organization, how do you need to protect that information. Automate cyber processes. Significant number of cyber processes are still not very tightly controlled, and security behind them are still not very automated. Expand identity management. Can somebody tell me what do you mean by identity management? All of you use it on a day-to-day basis on your computer. User ID and password. What does a user ID and password do? It does authentication and authorization. In terms of authentication, it tells you who you are, and authorization, it tells you what you have access to, right? So depending on the number of users on the system, it allows that. So essentially managing identity management within the enterprise as to who has access to what, and also having a very clear audit trail of when did they access it and why did they access it, and that kind of information. Cultivate cyber leadership, manage risk within the enterprise, cultivate workforce resiliency. What we mean by workforce resiliency is a secure workforce resiliency where you have a team of professionals who essentially can very quickly calibrate to some of these particular incidents and manage those particular incidents effectively. The last is define your organization broadly, but let me go through a enterprise security program. Typical enterprise security program is to set up what the organization wants, who is going to manage it from a governance perspective, make sure all of your people are trained, do good amount of user management or identity management, security is not only as part of your information but also your perimeter. So as you're protecting information, don't forget the fundamental principle that you also need to protect the fort. So if a person is walking into today RDRs without any access cards and other thing, he can do a lot more damage than a person who is just trying to externally enter your network. So you have to protect not only your physical but also your logical. Privacy, regulation and compliance. If you are an organization, there are regulations, mandatory regulations, there are national policies that you need to follow. Security management and reporting, significant, sure what is happening with business continuity is about resiliency. What I said is, today if you want to walk down the road and feel secure, you want to know that at any point in time the police are available to protect you, right? Similarly, when you are in the enterprise, you want to make sure that the security team is always available and up and running to basically protect you. Security sustainment, how do you continuously manage that all of these threats and still manage your enterprise? Deloitte Cyber Security Services, we provide security services in terms of helping organizations prepare, develop awareness, respond. We are part of the CERT team where we also provide SWAT services for the country. A lot of these are voluntary services that we provide, and we essentially protect enterprises across. So what I would like to do now is pause and ask if there are any questions.
I have a simple question. So, excuse me.
Sure.
But implementation part is not the job of Deloitte cyber security.
We do implementation too.
You do implement.
We do assessment, design and implementation, and we also manage.
In-house, everything.
Everything. We also manage the services. So, for example, an organization which is looking to entirely outsource its security, we will streamline that and manage that further.
So students can join your company for implementation part?
Definitely. Yeah, we have, so if you were to look at in terms of career path, right, what are the different opportunities that you look at? You have opportunities in risk management and compliance, which essentially is when an organization needs to comply, there are teams that we send into those particular organizations to review what they're doing, how are they really, what are their security controls. We do assessments and we help them basically comply. Then you have things related to cyber forensics. We do a lot of work in the area of cyber forensics, where we essentially, if we not only do proactive but we also do reactive, where we essentially can go do investigations, do the entire forensics. Then we do cyber security, where we help organizations right from strategy through design, implementation and manage security. So we do the entire build. So there's the consulting aspect of it, which could be consulting, security operations or security engineering. And then you have a wider variety of areas in security, which range from physical security, logical security and other areas. Physical security, I talked to you about the fort, right? Today if you go into a company, will they allow you to walk in? Today if I come to your house, you'll let me walk in? Take that, apply it to an enterprise where they are managing who comes in and goes out. That is physical security. Logical security is the core information and how you protect the information. Any other question? Okay, great. Thank you very much. Appreciate giving me the opportunity.
No, actually, I just want to tell you that since you asked this question, so there are disasters which can occur. So they are physical attacks. You know, fire is there, earthquake is there. So there is physical attack. Similarly, we are talking about attacks on the system. So we are basically talking about attacks. So what type of attacks can we perform on our information system? So we have servers, lot of servers are there. So when you store your data, so hackers will try to extract data from your servers. So there are physical attacks and there are vulnerabilities in the system, information systems, which an attacker, and you usually call bugs. There are bugs. So the attackers use those bugs in your program to enter into your system. These are many things which are there. So these are our two of the things which have been delivered today. Nice presentations. So third one, Mr. Harpreet Khattar, is he here? No, he has not come. It seems he is busy here. So I thank both the speakers for giving valuable time and making presentations which are worth noticing. It's not that you just go out here and forget about this. You must think about it. That how and this is an area where we require large workforce, and we require computer science students, MBA students, every type of academic education you can call it, or academic degree is required for this. It's not only for computer scientists, it's for MBA students also. So let's thank them, both the speakers, with big hand. So being the chairperson of this session, so I'll now go for paper presentations. So Dr. Dimple Jethi, is she here? Yes. She'll talk about practices for cloud security. So madam, you have 5 to 10 minutes.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Good afternoon to all. Myself Dr. Dimple Jethi, and today I am here to give a presentation on the topic Better Practices for Cloud Security Infrastructure Issues. And the points that I am going to take up are understanding cloud computing, IaaS characteristics, its components and technology, and will identify some security issues within the framework of IaaS, and then some approaches how to address these issues. The usage of cloud-based services, which is based on the concept of virtualization, is growing rapidly nowadays. Cloud computing is benefiting the organization from the view of cost, flexibility and scalability. In simple words, we can say that cloud computing is the provision of computing resources via network. The US National Institute of Standards and Technology has defined cloud computing as a model for enabling convenient, on-demand network access to a shared pool of configurable computing resources, and these resources can be network, storage, servers, applications and any other computing services that can be rapidly provisioned and released with minimum management effort or service provider interaction. Cloud computing shifts the responsibility of configuring, deploying and maintenance of these cloud infrastructure from clients to service providers. The user does not know the details of the location or the configuration of their resources. As per the NIST definition, the cloud computing has 5 basic essential characteristics. The first one is on-demand self-service. That is, users get computing capabilities as needed automatically without any human intervention, and this is generally done through a service portal through which the users can manage their resources themselves. And these resources can be the computing capabilities, storage, virtual machines, etc. Next characteristic is broad network access. Resources are available via network and they can be accessed by mobiles, laptops, desktops, phones, tablets, or any other device, anywhere, anytime. Next is resource pooling. The cloud server providers, they can also pool their resources, and those resources can be shared by multiple users, which is sometimes called multi-tenancy also. So because users have no control of the exact location of their resources, there is a sense of location independence. Yes, at some level of abstraction, we can give the location like which country or state or data center. Next is resource pooling. Resources can be quickly and transparently expended or contracted as per the demands of the users. Next characteristic is measured service, that is a resource is measured using appropriate metrics. These metrics can be the bandwidth usage or the CPU hours. So it depends on the quantity of the resources as well as the for which durations these resources were used. So these are the basics of your resources measurement. Now there are these cloud services are divided in basically three types of services. That is, first one is SaaS, that is software as a service, which is typically in this kind of software as a service, the applications are offered to the clients via internet and they are managed completely by the cloud provider. So that means the administration jobs of these applications, the patching, updating, these all are done by the cloud providers and the client is free from all these tasks. For example, Google Docs. Next we have a platform as a service where the cloud provider offer an application platform as a service. And for example, Google App Engine. And the third one is infrastructure as a service, which delivers hardware resources such as CPU, disk space, or network equipments as a service. So the client is not responsible for the maintenance of all this infrastructure. Irrespective of the services models delivered by the cloud service providers, there are 4 deployment models of cloud computing. The first one is public cloud, where the cloud service providers provides the cloud infrastructure or applications or any other like storage or processing capabilities to general public, or we can say large organization over the internet. And these services can be offered for free or it can be on pay per usage model. So because public clouds requires a significant large investment, so very big corporations like Microsoft or Google's are usually own these kind of cloud services. Next is private cloud. Private cloud is which is exclusively owned by an organization and which can be operated by the organization itself or by some third party. Third is community cloud. Community cloud is that is shared by several organizations and which they have set up for their some specific and common requirements. And last is hybrid cloud. Hybrid cloud evolves when we combine 2 or more types of cloud, that is private, public or community cloud together. And this kind of cloud computing environment in which the provider, the organization provides and manages some resources in-house and they can get some services from the outside. This is a list of some cloud providers in the market. So the point I am going to focus is infrastructure as a service, which is delivery of computing resources, that is hardware, networking and storage services. So in this cloud computing stack, we see that the SaaS and platform as a service, these two layers are based on the foundation layers of infrastructure as a service. So if there is any security hole in the infrastructure as a service, it will definitely affect the other two layers. So the characteristics of these IaaS are that the resources are distributed as a service. It can be dynamically scaled up or down as per user's requirement. It is a utility pricing, that is metering process it uses. Then it include multiple users on a single hardware, and policy based services, that is the agreement between the service provider and the client. So this is the overview of IaaS cloud computing, which is based on the virtualization. These are the components of IaaS structure, that is SLA, utility computing billing, platform virtualization, which is a very important part of cloud computing, and computer hardware and networking equipments. So these are the applications where we can use IaaS for the organization which have a limit on their capital expenditure, or they have some temporary investment requirements, or where demand is very volatile, and where it cannot be used is for the organization where they require the highest level of services, which can be given by only a dedicated host, their own dedicated server, and second is where some regulatory compliance cannot be fulfilled by the cloud service providers. So the security issues we encounter in this IaaS is that data protection and monitoring. So in data protection and monitoring, we need to monitor very closely where the information is accessed, who is accessing it, how he accessed the information, what happened to the information, or where it was forwarded. So the provider needs to have very tight security information restriction policies for that. Next is authentication and authorization. Simple username and password cannot be a safe mechanism for this. We need multiple factor authentication mechanism in cloud providers. Then encryption, we not need only to encrypt the data, but also all the communication paths should also be encrypted. And there is some complex compliance requirements, some statutory or some industry compliance which cannot be met. It's not very easy because it differs for every country. And one is logging and reporting. So this is also like we need to log all the activities, and all the activities of storage or memory or data should be maintained on a very secure hardware system. So this is one of the concerns that still some organization hold back while moving to the public cloud services. So there are some research challenges which we have to still research for security in cloud computing environment. So the conclusion is that security as a service should be provided to the cloud users. Thank you.
Questions? Okay, let's thank Dr. Jyoti. Yeah, is there a question? Yeah, please.
Sir, I made some which you say last part was recommendations. In the security recommendations, I studied some part. Thank you.
Okay, let's thank Dr. Jyoti for her presentation. Now, next paper we have by Himanshu and Yogesh. Who is going to present the paper? Both. Okay. So their paper is Future Protection Technology. Future Protection Technologies.
Good afternoon, everyone. Am I audible? Yeah. I am Himanshu Basoya,
I'm Yogesh.
and we are here to present our research on the topic Future Prevention Technologies. We both are MBA students among all these technical people, so please bear with us.
Before starting our presentation, I would like to share a viewpoint of retired Major General Isaac Ben of Israel Air Force. He said that if you want to hit a country severely, you hit its power and water supplies. But cyber technology can do this without shooting a single bullet, and I think that's absolutely true. Nowadays, cyber technology become a part of life, and it is emerging with a great speed. Now I'm going to discuss about cybersecurity. What is cybersecurity? Basically, it is the technology and processes designed to protect computers, network, data from unauthorized access and attack through internet by cyber criminals. And it was forecasted for 2013 that the market for cybersecurity would be somewhere around 67 billion in 2013. And in today's scenario, mobile devices have crossed the world population in numbers. Hence, it is required, or we can say that it is mandatory, to implement strict security measures in the cyberspace. In the next, we have we have two terms, that is cybersecurity and computer security. In cybersecurity, we deal with all those threats that are generated through internet. But in computer security, which is a broader term, deals with all those threats that are generated through USB, pen drives, software installation, and etc. Moving further, threats. Basically, threats are possible dangers that breaches our security and cause possible harm. It can be either intentional, which caused by cyber criminals, or it can be accidental, which can be caused by computer manipulation, malfunction, and due to a natural disaster. Threat can be classified according to the type and origin. According to the type, we have physical damage, natural events, loss of essential service, which is due to electrical power failure, compromise of information, technical failure, which is due to software or computer failure. And in the last, we have compromise of function. In the next slide, classified according to the origin, we have deliberately focusing at the information asset of any individual or any organization, which includes spying, illegal processing of data. In the next, we have accidental, which is due to equipment failure or software failure. And the last, we have environmental, which is due to loss of power supply and natural event. And now I'm going to discuss about all the major threats that are occurring in computers. Like virus, we all know that it is a program designed to copy itself. Worms, we know Trojan, we know spyware, adware. And in the next, we have phishing, which is a fraudulent acquiring of sensitive personal information by sending official looking emails. We have keylogger, which is used to design to record the user keystrokes. Rogue security software, which is a special type of threat in which a software who claim to be a security software, which is actually is not, tricks user to pay fee for its installation. And the last, we have unsecured home wireless network. In the next slide, I'm going to discuss about cyber crimes. Cyber crimes which involve any crime which involve a computer or a network called cyber crime, in which we have cyber stalking, which is used to stalk or harass individual, group or individual, fraud and identity theft. Information warfare. Basically, information warfare is an American concept which uses management of IT